Hello, hello. Welcome to Happiness is a Healthier Habit with me, your nutrition coach. My name is Jackie Poole, and here we chat about mom life, weight loss, habits, and everything in between. And I'm so excited to chat with you today because it is a new season. Fall is just around the corner, and for a lot of you, school has started, so you might have a little more time in your hands. You might be getting into new routines. Kids are all in school again. Work is looking a little bit more different. So definitely a lot of changes that could be happening in your world. And I know for me, there's a lot of new things that are happening and things that we are trying to accomplish, right? And the reason of today's podcast is really talking about how to develop those habits. But first, we have to identify what habits are sabotaging our success, are hindering our success, are stopping us from going to where we want to go. Because we have goals, we want to feel better. We want to have good habits. We don't wake up every day and, tell ourselves, it's going to suck today. I'm not going to do good. I'm not even going to try. We really wake up, or I hope you don't. We really want to wake up with enthusiasm. We want to wake up with a good, clear mind of we want something good for ourselves. We want to do good for our body. We want to do good to our mind. We want to do good to portray that to our family, to our loved ones, but most importantly to ourselves. And sometimes it's kind of hard to let go of the bad habits. And sure, nobody's perfect. I'm sure, including myself, I have a bad habit here and there. We're not all perfect, but sometimes we really have to sit down and being aware of what's stopping us from getting to where we want to go so we can finally move forward. So we are going to be identifying those bad habits and hopefully replacing them with good ones, right? To move to the next step, to move to the next level of where we want to go. And sometimes letting go of things can be quite difficult. We place a lot of attachment to it. It could be from maybe others' opinions that we are attached to it, to our own investment that we've done. So there's certain things that we are definitely attached to. For example, certain routines. I'm like, I can't do it this way. This is the only way. And you are not open to moving things around, shifting around. So sometimes being aware of what we're doing and what's stopping us from getting to the next level is the first step. So if you have a pen, a piece of paper, anything that you can write this down, a journal that you might need or that you have on the side. If you're listening on the car, then, stop and listen to it later so you can do this exercise with yourself. So we're going to grab a piece of paper, a journal, and we're really going to write things down. And, some of the bad habits that would be maybe you're just not prioritizing your time, right? Maybe there's a reason why you can't find time to work out. So really sit down and it could be that you're maybe waking up way right before your alarm goes off and snoozing like 4 times. That could be a bad habit. Or maybe you're scrolling during your lunch break instead of listening to something more productive, reading something more productive. You're scrolling for an hour during lunch. You really have to sit down and figure out what is it that you are trying to change. Not necessarily that you need to give up, but that you can kind of make less time for to add something more beneficial to get you to the next step. So you want to write those little things down, maybe be very observant of what your day is for the next few days and see where those little gaps in time that you could be changing those habits, whether waking up a little earlier, snoozing less, scrolling on your phone more, all of those snacking, maybe you're someone that's snacking all the time and you realize that in the next few days, whatever those habits that are sabotaging you, that are stopping you from getting to where you want to go, you want to write those down and see how you can implement something else, right? Because you want to take something away, but you want to add to it. And to be honest, just choose one thing that you consider the most important thing that you want to change. Don't want to go and change all of those things at once, because that's going to create a lot more stress. It's going to create anxiety, and you're going to feel super miserable trying to change all of these things at once, right? I do want to stress that making change is not easy and is very important sometimes to be aware of that and to encourage yourself and be proud, because the first step is being aware of the things that you have to change and acknowledging that they're not benefiting you. And like I mentioned earlier, sometimes it's so hard to let go and make new decisions, invest in yourself, let go of the things that you've been doing because they might be who you consider yourself to be, because other people's opinions are reflected on you, that you're scared to make that change. You're scared of what other people might think if you start doing certain things this way. Definitely, your self investment in what you're doing. For example, we are trying to sell this home. When we moved into this house, it was very important for us to have stability and all of the things that come when you purchase a home. But, seasons change, things happen. We definitely need a new plan because this is not serving us anymore. And it's hard to wrap ourselves throughout the idea that, why we need to let go. And certainly it was not our intention that this was gonna happen, that this is what we wanted to do, but it's something that we have to. And sometimes we have to be in hard situations, and sometimes things happen. Your health might, plummet. You might have an accident. A loved one might be sick. So when things happen, you don't realize that you have to make these changes. You have to let go. And that's why we're doing this today, because you don't have to go through necessarily a life-changing moment to start making changes now. So when you get home, when you have 5 minutes, acknowledge your days, go about your days, and really be observant of how you are treating your time. Because it's so easy to say real quick, I can't afford that. That is too expensive. I don't have time. We are stuck in those beliefs of that I don't have time, I don't have the discipline, my genetics don't go that way, I'm not a morning person. The way we think and the way we believe and how we can go about doing certain things have such a huge impact on how we approach things. So sometimes to get our mindset and start believing those beliefs that I can and I will is bringing that awareness, right? Because if you don't acknowledge what's wrong, then how are you going to even start working on it? Because if you don't know what you don't know. So you have to be aware of the things that you can improve, because there's always room for improvement. There's always room for growth. There's always place where you can bring yourself to a better you. So there's a very big gap. You're always learning. If you're not learning, then there's something that is definitely there for you to pick up. And that's how you grow. That's how you become better as a person, as an individual, as a wife, as a mom, as a friend, as a daughter, as a mother. You are here to grow and be better for your family, for your loved ones, for yourself. And so we start by acknowledging, because without being aware that you're doing something wrong, then you're going to keep doing the same thing. So that's the purpose of today's episode is, learning what habits are not helping us, are not serving us, identifying them, going about your day and seeing what's not effective, and see how you can make tweaks here and there. And like I mentioned earlier, you don't want to go out and attack them all at once. You want to focus on one or two that you really want to change. If you want to, one of my most important habits is to really get up in the morning and be somewhat mobile. It is so important to get your juices flowing, to get, that blood flow going, to get that morning, cardio for your heart, for your health. It's just a great way, a great mood booster to get up and walk. And for example, I have a lot of people that tell me I don't have time. I wake up super early to go to work, to go to drive. Okay. So let's figure this out. If you wake up 10 minutes earlier, you can definitely make those 10 minutes to, get to walking. And if you can't do it in the morning, where can you place that walk? I'm just asking for 10 minutes of your day to place that walk somewhere. If you can't absolutely do it in the morning, do it where you can. That is such an important decision for you to make, whether you can or you can't. And it's like that for everything, whether it be going to the gym, whether it be meal prepping, whether it be getting more sleep. A lot of people's intentions is to automatically is with the belief that I can't. And this is where this exercise is very helpful, because you will slowly start finding the times where you can change. And once you make that change, right, because we're going to take something out, but we're also going to replace it with something different, something good, something that's going to be helpful, that's something that's going to work for you. And you're going to start seeing the changes. You're going to start seeing the benefits from that little thing that you decide to do. And once you have that down, you can move on to something else that you want to change. This is, when people talk about building muscle, they talk about progressive overload. A little bit at a time, you're adding weight. So same thing with the habits. You're stacking them and adding one by one in your favor. So you see the progression, you see how your life starts to change, you see how much more energy, how much more confident, how much more discipline, how much more able you're, secure about yourself to make these changes by just being aware. So today's episode again is more for you to really sit down and do this exercise on your own and really identify what little things you can change. And it doesn't have to be all at once. I'm talking about the smallest step that you can change. But remember, you don't want to just take it out. You always have to replace it with something else. And this is where we're going to start identifying and putting in those good habits for you to really see success, to see and be where you want to be. And the first step is acknowledging. It's so important because I have this discussion with a friend, and if you don't acknowledge that something is wrong, that something can be changed, then you're just going to stay stagnant. And that's where we see the progression, being aware and actually writing this down and writing what you can work on and what you're going to replace it, and have it somewhere where you can see it that will motivate you to change. It can be just one thing that you can put it in your restroom, in your closet, in your room, in your office, in your car, in your, keyboard, wherever you are, that you're able to see it every day, to also motivate you and remind you, right? So you see it every day. Little things like that will help you get there. But the first step is acknowledging that you can make the change. This is what needs to be worked on. And it takes that acknowledgement to decide, okay, I'm going to take this out, but I'm also going to put this in. And if it doesn't work, you have to really have that conversation. Well, why didn't it work for me? How is it there that I can maybe improve on it? How can I decide to improve on it to make things better for you, as far as, this didn't work? Why? Always ask yourself why, right? Why, am I saying this? Why am I thinking this about myself? And that's how you start creating that conversation with your inner self to make those changes, to drive those changes and see improvements. And I'm so happy that I got a chance to talk to you today. This was definitely a quick episode to get you to start thinking maybe an idea for yourself, something that you hadn't been aware of. And I am taking client this month for the month of August for my 12-week program, where if you need to lose weight, if you need to feel better about yourself, if you need to gain that discipline, that confidence, I am here for you. So I will link the scheduling link below so we can get you started, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.